Bracing for mudslides, the concern tonight as a battered Southern California prepares for its first rainfall in months.
My brother just lost his home over in the Altadena fire, and now I'm like, oh my God, now it's my turn.
Two key Republican senators say they won't vote for President Trump's pick for the Pentagon. What does it mean for Pete Hegseth's nomination?
Every senator is going to vote their conscience.
And tariffs threat.
We're going to be demanding respect from other nations.
How soon could import taxes be put in place? And what does it mean if you're trying to buy a car?
How quickly does that get passed on to the consumer?
It's immediate.
The CBS Evening News starts now. Good evening, I'm Norah O'Donnell, and thank you for joining us. New wildfires have erupted in Southern California, more danger for a region in desperate need of a break. Firefighters are making progress against the Hughes fire, which is burning about 45 miles north of Los Angeles. It has torn through more than 10,000 acres and sent tens of thousands of people scrambling from their homes. Right now, at least 8 fires are burning in the area. That's including the Palisades and Eaton fires that killed at least 28 people and destroyed thousands of homes and businesses. The threat of strong winds that fuel these fires is not over. And while there is finally rain in the forecast, that brings another concern: mudslides. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti leads us off tonight from the fire zone.
In fire-weary Southern California, another wildfire broke out in Ventura County, 50 miles northwest of downtown LA, near farms and a college campus. While another scare last night, fire racing up a hillside near the exclusive community of Bel Air, threatening homes before crews gained the upper hand. The bigger concern, this fire near Castaic, still burning through dry brush. Residents already on edge from weeks of warnings had to scramble to safety. Adanya Perez was among the 30,000 newest evacuees.
My brother just lost his home over in the Altadena fire, and now I'm like, oh my God, now it's my turn.
While residents here got prompt evacuation warnings, for thousands in Altadena, early on the morning of January 8th, at the height of the devastating Eaton fire,
I didn't get any alerts. I woke up on pure vibes.
Florence Kearns-Wilson is among many demanding answers.
So there was no official warning, no official order issued. It was just go, go, go for you at 4 a.m.
Yeah, and it was very just like neighbors taking care of each other because no one else would tell us what to do.
All 17 who died in the fire were residents of West Altadena, where evacuation warnings came too late or not at all.
There are a lot of other people that were not safe, and they could have been.
A lot of frustration, and now tonight, a new fear. Residents are bracing for rain and the threat of mudslides. That threat, though, is this weekend. Norah, the current threat is all of this high wind. Red flag warnings remain in effect through tonight.
Jonathan Vigliotti, thank you for your reporting. Let's get the forecast now from CBS's Lonnie Quinn. And Lonnie, is there any relief in sight for the firefighters?
You know, Nora, yesterday when I was watching those fires spread, it was really because those winds had kicked in. Also, the drought had gotten worse. But look at the winds. I mean, we're seeing today wind gusts that are 60, 70 miles per hour. As you go through the overnight hours, those winds are still with us. The concern is still there about the fires spreading. I'll say this much. Tomorrow morning, they back down a little bit, but you still see some 40 and 50 mile per hour gusts. As you get to the afternoon, I think all of those winds should dissipate. Maybe it's about a 5 to 10 mile per hour wind. So that's something to look forward to in the wind category. As far as the drought, I told you it actually got worse. Look at this that I stumbled across. The drought monitor from December. This is 30 days ago. So the severe extreme drought was inland around Las Vegas. It wasn't even into the Los Angeles area. And yet, here we are. 30 days later, this was just issued today, and now that bright red color is right over San Diego and Los Angeles. They need some water. It is extreme drought. It's gotten worse because even though they had all that water last year, the drought monitor and the table has been going down and down and down, and we need some rain. Will we get it? Look at this. This is not a great forecast. There's some rain, possibly 9/10 around Altadena, maybe 5/10 of an inch around Los Angeles. We need more than that. It'll help, but it could also bring about mudslides because that earth has now got no vegetation holding the soil in place. Nora, it's all yours.
That is the big concern, Lonnie Quinn. Thank you so much. We want to turn now to the potential impacts of the new Trump presidency on your wallet. Trump and his advisors are working on their plans to slap double-digit tariffs on foreign goods, making them more expensive and less attractive to American consumers. Trump argues this will boost manufacturing in the U.S. and balance trade with countries like China. But others warn that retaliatory tariffs on American goods will lower demand for products made in the U.S. and then hurt American workers. We get more now from CBS's Weijia Jiang at the White House.
Tonight, a warning to world leaders from President Trump.
Come make your product in America. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff.
The president made the threat during virtual remarks to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. It did not sit well with everyone in the audience, including the head of the World Trade Organization.
If we have tit-for-tat retaliation, whether it's 25%, tariff 60%, and we go to where we were in the 1930s, we're going to see double-digit global GDP losses. Double-digit. That's catastrophic.
Trump also addressed the war in Ukraine, saying his efforts to end the conflict are underway, and Moscow must make a move.
Well, you're going to have to ask Russia. Ukraine is ready to make a deal.
We asked the president about that comment later in the Oval Office.
You said that Ukraine's ready to make a deal. Did President Zelensky tell you that personally?
Yeah, sure. He's ready to negotiate a deal. He'd like to stop. He's somebody that lost a lot of soldiers, and so did Russia.
Here at home, a blow to one of Trump's executive orders to end birthright citizenship. A federal judge in Washington state called it blatantly unconstitutional, temporarily blocking the order for 2 weeks as several states challenge it in court.
Obviously, we'll appeal it. They put it before a certain judge in Seattle, I guess, right? And there's no surprises with that judge.
And Weijia Jiang now joins us from the White House. Weijia, I do want to ask you about that executive order that the president signed today declassifying the files on the assassinations of John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King. What can you tell us about that?
That's right, Norah. Tonight, President Trump says this executive order will provide Americans the truth after 6 decades of secrecy. The official conclusions that all 3 killings were carried out by lone gunmen have long been challenged by a slew of conspiracy theories. Top administration officials will now present a plan within 15 days to release the records for JFK and 45 days for the other 2 cases. Norah?
All right, we'll be watching. Weijia Jiang, thank you. And a programming note, this Sunday, Vice President J.D. Vance sits down with Margaret Brennan for his first interview since taking office. That is this weekend on Face the Nation. Tonight, 2 sources tell CBS News that Pete Hegseth, President Trump's embattled pick for defense secretary, paid $50,000 to the woman who accused him of sexual assault in 2017. Hegseth denies any wrongdoing. The former Fox News host is headed for a final vote in the Senate as early as tomorrow. He passed a procedural vote today, 51-49. There were 2 Republican defectors, Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine. The combat veteran has faced hard questions about his qualifications and an allegation of sexual misconduct and heavy drinking. We're learning disturbing details about the 17-year-old who shot and killed a 16-year-old girl and wounded another student at their high school in Nashville, Tennessee yesterday. Writings believed to be the shooters include racist and anti-Semitic rants. We get more now from CBS's Nicole Valdez in Nashville.
17 seconds after the shooter walked into the cafeteria at Antioch High School Wednesday morning, Nashville police say he fired a 9mm pistol 10 times. Investigators are now examining 2 online documents they believe were created by the gunman. In one, he wrote he, quote, was ashamed to be black. 16-year-old Jocelyn Correa Escalante was killed in the attack. This video shows her celebrating her 15th birthday. Her father telling CBS affiliate WTVF he never imagined she wouldn't come home, saying it's not fair. The district says it has several security measures in place, including cameras and an AI weapons detection system.
What is your answer to parents who are asking, what do we then tell our kids when they ask us, am I safe to go back to school?
Sure. We wanted to have a system that worked on multiple cameras throughout the network. It does work, but it's not going to work in every instance, in every spot. We have SROs, we have safety and security drills and plans. So it all works together as a system, but one system alone is not going to keep people safe.
Some parents say the district failed.
I know I try to protect my kids at all costs. So if I've given y'all the right and authority to have my child and you didn't protect him or her, I'm not satisfied at all. It was like a parent's worst nightmare, or just a worst nightmare, period.
Sources telling CBS News tonight that this shooter and a girl accused in a different school shooting followed each other on social media. In fact, several ex-users flagged the Antioch shooter's profile to the FBI after he posted an encouraging comment on something she posted. Norah?
Nicole Valdez, thank you. As President Trump tells the world, make products in America or pay up, will you be the one footing the bill? That's next. President Trump's proposed tariffs will impact the cost of many products, including cars. CBS's Kelly O'Grady reports on the sticker shock you could feel.
How many of these cars are we going to see an increase on?
Well, you're going to see it on that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. It's going to be every single car.
Tom Maioli is the owner of a new and used car dealership in New Jersey. With President Donald Trump threatening 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, Maioli says drivers could see a big price jump.
How much of an increase could a consumer see?
You know, I think it's going to be a minimum of 5. It could be up to 15%.
And with higher prices for new cars, used ones will also spike because there would be more demand. Tariffs on Mexico and Canada will cause an increase as some of the biggest car brands, including Ford, GM, and Stellantis, have plants in these two neighboring countries. And even cars assembled here in the U.S. may see an increase. According to Maioli, more than half of parts, like batteries and motor components, are sourced elsewhere and could get slapped with a tariff, especially with the president also proposing a 10% tariff on China.
I think the manufacturer has no choice but to pass that along to the consumer because they need to drive profits.
How quickly does that get passed on to the consumer?
Anything that has not been shipped yet or is at the dock that's getting shipped into these ports that's ultimately going into a vehicle to be manufactured, it's immediate.
But that's not all. Repair parts and costs could go up too.
How is this going to impact parts that are coming from a place like China?
These brake pads come from China. Some of them come from Mexico. These brake pads could go up as much as 20%, which ultimately impact the cost to the consumer when they do that.
So even if I'm someone that says, I'm not going to go buy a new car, I'm going to stay with my current car, I'm going to have to pay 20, 25% more.
Sure, because if you're not buying, you're fixing. You got to keep the car on the road. You can't stop transportation. You have to get your family to work and to school.
Now, tariffs could incentivize manufacturers to bring jobs to the U.S., but that's not something car companies can do overnight, taking as much as 18 to 24 months. Most in the auto industry, though, are hoping these threats are just a negotiating tactic. Norah?
We will see. Kelly O'Grady, thank you so much. Nominations for the Academy Awards are in. Which movies made the cut? That's next. Hollywood's biggest night is already shaping up to be a historic one. For the first time, an openly trans actress is up for an Academy Award. Carla Sofia Gascon scored a nomination for Best Actress in Emilia Perez. The Netflix musical leads with 13 nods, the most ever for a non-English film. Another musical not far behind, Wicked, picked up 10 nominations. And we'll be right back. As many of you know, this is my final evening news broadcast. It has been an incredible 5.5 years, and I'm told we have a surprise guest. Honestly, I don't know who it is, to help us look back.
Hey, Norah. Oprah here. Congratulations. You have so much to be proud of. Your work as the anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News has not only won awards, but more importantly, has made such a difference and informed our nation. It is impossible to highlight 5 years of masterful storytelling, but let's give it a shot.
This is the CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell.
Good evening. It's good to be with you.
The CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell started as a whirlwind.
I'm Norah O'Donnell at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
Making an incredible impact on your first week.
I'm Norah O'Donnell here on the southern border in Texas. Have you ever let cameras inside here before, like this?
No.
You traveled the whole way with your son?
Sola.
Sí, sola.
And Norah, you didn't stop making an impact then. Your interviews and investigations have led to change.
Tonight, the U.S. Army is responding to our exclusive CBS News investigation into sexual assault in the military and acknowledging they must do better. How many of you think there needs to be something massive that happens, like a Me Too movement for the military? We're here in Buffalo, New York. We are live tonight from here in Maui. Hurricane Dorian is here in Florida.
Every major breaking news story. Norah, you were there and I was watching.
This is just unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's like an ashen moonscape.
We're here with the U.S. Coast Guard.
Traveling the country.
Oh, wow, the stadium's right there.
And the world.
We're on a Navy MH-60 helicopter right over the Red Sea.
We're broadcasting live aboard the USS Nimitz, and while we can't give you our exact location, we can tell you we are in the western Pacific Ocean.
All right, there's max afterburner, 100 miles an hour. Oh my gosh.
You've committed to honoring America's heroes and telling their stories.
How were you going to take down Flight 93?
We were going to have to hit the airplane and disable it somehow.
A kamikaze mission.
Our only choice was going to be to ram the airliner.
If I'm a parent in your state, I'm like, what's Congress doing? Why are you taking so long?
You ask the tough questions to the people in charge.
Why not say what restrictions you would support as part of that?
I've told you.
Do Republicans have a spending problem?
Yes, of course. Getting Americans the answers we all deserve.
Are higher prices here to stay? The U.S. Capitol has been placed on lockdown.
Not only have you covered history, Norah, you also made it.
Buongiorno, Your Holiness.
With the first of its kind papal interview.
Do you like when you are called the People's Pope?
El Papa de la gente.
Oh my goodness, hi, I'm Norah O'Donnell.
Well, of course you are.
And you're Dolly
think
Parton.
I don't know that? I'm not one for speaking out much, but that don't mean I don't stay in touch.
And amplifying the voices of so many women.
You must speak out for your rights.
We are coming on the air with breaking news.
Through countless hours of breaking news and nearly 1,300 broadcasts, Norah, you've treated each story with grace and compassion.
They are alive because of their parents' love for them.
Yeah, exactly.
May their memory be a blessing.
Amen.
Putting world events into context.
1 year ago, our world was turned upside down, but our perspective turned right side up. The things we took for granted, we won't take for granted again.
Offering a hug. A little laughter.
I'm sorry.
And a whole lot of smiles along the way. Woo, Norah. You did all that and more. You have so much to be proud of, and you're only getting started. So we all cannot wait to see all you accomplish as CBS News senior correspondent. We'll be watching. You know I've been watching, calling you about those suits, and I will continue to watch, and we're all cheering you on always.
Wow, Oprah, thank you. This has been the honor of a lifetime to anchor this legacy broadcast. You know, the CBS Evening News is, for good reason, the longest running evening newscast in America. And it is powered by the finest journalists around the world, the correspondents, producers, researchers, and crews who work tirelessly to bring you the news every night. And that won't change because journalism matters. I know that because I've heard it from so many of you, our viewers. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for trusting us and welcoming hard news with heart into your homes. I will miss you too, but I will see you on CBS News programs, including mornings, 60 Minutes, Sunday morning, and in prime time. So, for the final time, that's tonight's CBS Evening News. I owe it all to everybody I work with, honestly. Love you. Good night.